I disagree with some of the, these chirpers, this like sort of like low whisper campaign that, oh, this stuff isn't new. I think there are significant new details in there, specifically the president's daily brief. That information was not public before. And we are getting new information from the DNI and from the Trump administration writ large regarding exactly how high all of this went for the beginnings, the genesis of Russiagate, the fact that they blocked the president-elect from having access to the original report. But then, of course, also, I think the question on a lot of people's lips is, okay, great, what comes next? Where do we go next? So the DNI, that position has been filled. She's out there, of course, all over Tulsi Gabbard on media, telling people where to go, telling people about this, cheerleading this work of her people. But when it comes down to actual action, what next steps do you expect to see? And what do you think of the report?
Well, yeah. So I would also add that in addition to the great work of Tulsi Gabbard, that has filled in a lot of the gaps that we didn't know about with this declassification she did last week. A couple weeks ago, we had the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, had released an assessment that was done by career CIA employees that demonstrated certain things regarding the ICA, right, the intelligence community assessment that formed the basis for the Russia hoax eventually from there. And John Brennan, the then CIA director back during the Obama administration, had testified later to Congress that he had nothing to do with the crafting of the ICA. And that's what everything seems to hinge around here, right? Like, and that's the stuff that Tulsi Gabbard released here that really we're starting to see the picture get colored in, where it does appear as though the actual real truth about the intelligence community's position in the aftermath of the 2016 election is that Russia did not interfere in a way that influenced the outcome of the election at all. And that it now looks as though Barack Obama himself, as well as several senior people around him, conspired, like Brennan, like Clapper, like Comey, et cetera, conspired to change the intelligence in a way that was designed to try to hurt President Trump on his way into office in his first term, to delegitimize the then incoming president of the United States. And so this is extremely troubling. I think that we need to see, or look, we saw back during the Biden administration, which was the term between President Trump's two terms, the Democrats harping on nonstop that there were threats to our democracy, and they did primetime hearings through the January 6th committee, where they forced a whole bunch of people to testify. Remember Liz Cheney and all of them doing all of that. I think we need something bigger than that. So Speaker Johnson, Leader Thune, if you're listening, I think we need a bicameral commission between the House and the Senate. They can do this. They could do. They could form a bicameral committee with House members and senators for the special select purpose of investigating this. They should hold primetime hearings. They should subpoena John Brennan, James Clapper, and the rest of them to come in and testify on live television under oath. And then also we have seen referrals made to the Justice Department, to the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Washington, D.C. For people like Brennan already, right? Because of the stuff that the CIA came out with a couple weeks ago, we've seen referrals over that to the Justice Department. And then I would imagine that, and I believe that Tulsi Gabbard has said that there have been referrals from what she's uncovered as well. So we need to see both a joint bipartisan bicameral congressional investigation into James Clapper, John Brennan, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, anyone else, James Comey, anyone else that was involved in all of this. And we need to see law enforcement consequences where people, if there were crimes committed, there needs to be charges brought and convictions made for people that broke the law. And again, there are major wide-ranging, worldwide, life and death consequences for what these people did. You mentioned several of the things were, like the U.S.-Russia relations, the eventual Russian invasion of Ukraine. A lot of that stuff could have possibly been avoided. Had these people not altered the intelligence for political reasons. So I think that there are some very serious problems here that need to get unpacked and unfurled. And it should happen on primetime television so the American people can see it. So again, that's up to Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune, but I would hope that they engage in that. And then also the law enforcement side of consequences come down to what the Attorney General in the U.S. Attorney's Office and others involved in that would do. So, but I hope there are consequences, and there need to be. And the story needs to be further fleshed out. We need to have more clear answers about this. There needs to be the public needs to know more about it. And I think that this scandal warrants that level of attention where they would do such a thing.
Yeah, and I hear you. You know, what's interesting is that I'm seeing in the chat right now, so people were mentioning when you said about the hearings, some people are saying, oh, we don't want hearings, we just want indictments. But then other people saying, no, we do want the primetime television, we do want the transparency. And so make the case for, politically speaking, why you think that primetime hearings would be important.
I think the American public needs to know what these people did, and we need to be, we need to show the people that, so that you can do both. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can do indictments, but also do congressional hearings and tell the story to the American public. But I think that the public needs to know why you're seeing a focus on this. You need to explain that to people. You need to show, not tell, what these people did and why they did it and why it was so bad and what the consequences of it were. I think that you need to do that in the brightest light as you possibly can, so the most people possible can watch nationally. I also think that it would be very smart for the networks across the board to carry such hearings live if and when that were to happen. I don't know if they would do that. Some of them did, I think, on some of the January 6th hearings. But I think that the public deserves to know this stuff. And I think that the American people deserve the truth. And I think that, shining the light as bright as possible on this is the best possible outcome, so that we can be sure, first off, truly understand what happened. And secondly, be sure that it never happens again.
Wait, and by the way, interestingly enough, so one of the biggest issues with this, of course, and you just mentioned it, is that the broadcast networks don't air it, the left doesn't air it. However, if you were able to, and I was just thinking of this as we were going through it, wait a minute, there's such an obvious way to make this happen. All you would need to do to force them to have, now, obviously, if you can get them to you subpoena Brennan, Clapper, Comey, bring them in. Obviously, that's easy. The other way that you can get them to be forced to cover it, have Trump go. Have Trump actually go to the hearing itself, and he's there. What, you're allowed to, the President of the United States can attend a hearing? Of course he can. And if he goes, then the media is going to be forced to cover it. They have to gear their coverage towards this thing. Then they've got to debate one way or the other, up or down. I mean, you could even do stuff at the White House. People should get very, very, I think, creative with these types of things.